Chiefs 20, Giants 17. Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And the Giants are 2-8, which is their best record to start the season over the last 5 years, tied with it. You know, four years under Dave Gettleman, and at the halfway point, 8 games, they are 2-6 this season, 1-7 last season, 2-6 the season before, and 1-7 his first season. 6-26 overall. Again, second straight year it's Monday Night Football before the trade deadline, and second straight year where they should be selling. Justin, we'll talk about this game in particular, like we always do on the Monday pods, but I'm not even so specifically mad at this game. It's just I'm mad at why we're here and the things that have repeated themselves in this game. Where it was like, this is the way the Giants lose, is this game. It's, the things that we kind of dislike about everybody, offensively and coaching-wise, defense played a good game, is the reason why the Giants lost this game.
Yeah, Bobby, that's really funny how that's the point that you come to me with, because my big frustrating point to kind of start is even you go back to Tom Coughlin in 2015 in his final year, right? The Giants have lost the same type of game for years. For years, where it's fans that are arguing and bickering with each other of, is it the player execution? Because that's what the coaches say. It's just these 1 or 2 player execution points. But is it a larger problem of coaching? But then it's the underlying theme of this team just isn't that talented to begin with. And then we're pointing the finger at the general manager, and there's game football's nuanced, and it's a boatload of everybody's fault, right? It's not just one person, not just one thing, not just the other, but still, just as a fan, we've had Tom Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, 4 head coaches since 2015, 2 different general managers, and even when we change head coaches, it still almost feels like it's a new regime. You almost get new life. But it's the same things that just perpetuate themselves over and over and over again. And I don't have an answer, and I'm not pointing a finger at anything, at least as of right now. We'll get to it. But it's just frustrating over and over and over again. It's Groundhog Day. It really is just Groundhog Day. And I feel embarrassed right now. Maybe the rest of the league doesn't feel like the Giants embarrass themselves on national television, but I feel Joe Judge embarrassed himself on national television again this year. Second time that he did it this year, especially with those lack of fourth down decisions. And I just feel embarrassed as a Giants fan that we're here and this was a game that we should have won. So,
well, what's frustrating is, the things you look at in this game, the reason the way they lost are the things that if you had asked us, week 17 ends last year. It's January 4th. And we're talking about what things do the Giants need to do differently? Let's go through the roster, the coaching staff, the GM.
To not be 2-6.
Well, yes. What would you need to what things need to change?
Fire Jason
And
Garrett.
at the top of that list for us was firing Jason Garrett. And you see Jason Garrett rear his ugly head again today. And you look at the whole body of work under Jason Garrett, and it's horrible. If we were talking about Joe Judge, it would be fourth down decision making. It was the thing we were the most critical, and especially you were, of last year. And it is just, unless it's 4th and 1 at the goal line, we don't go for it on 4th down. And that very well may have been the difference in this game. And that mix, the mix of Joe Judge's 4th down decisions paired with Jason Garrett's 3rd down play calling, which is when he's at his absolute worst, even though his philosophy just sucks in general, it's a disgusting mix. Because it's all right, let's get just to the sticks on 3rd down. And it's okay, well, you didn't get there. You're a yard or 2 short. And, well, we're not going to go for it on 4th down. It's the fact that we said, hey, the offensive line, they can't go, Andrew Thomas, we got, this offensive line needs to be upgraded, and it's why I wanted an offensive line. And once they got Galladay, it's okay, we could kind of, move on to offensive line. They went into 2021 with a right tackle who lost his job to Nate Solder. That was their plan for the right tackle position. And I know they're both playing right now.
Nate Solder was the worst tackle in 2019, and that's who they gave the job to after he took a year off.
This isn't out of nowhere, and it's while he basically admitted, I wasn't working out, I got out of shape. Essentially admitted that he doesn't care about football, but he needs to come and get paid. And they're like, that's our options right now. They said they would self-scout and see the things they need to do to get better. Now, defensively, they did change some things. But offensively, they haven't changed anything. The only game where Garrett really changed was versus the Panthers last week when they had 3 points at the half and they just did a bunch of bootlegs and that was it, and Daniel Jones played really well, So there's a lot we need to talk about in this game, including Daniel Jones, because it wasn't a good Daniel Jones game. It was a good defensive game. And it's just like here we are again. There was supposed to be at least some expectations, maybe not to be a great team this year, but to be 2-6 again is so frustrating.
We talk about Judge first. Fourth down
Go
stuff.
for it. I can't hear you. My headset's broken.
Oh, you can't? Or are you joking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I posted the whole 1.5-minute clip of Dan Duggan asked, particularly in the first half, which there were 2 fourth down decisions I thought in which Joe Judge should have gone for it, and I believe I DM'd them to myself. So the first one that comes from the first half is the Sterling Shepard one, where it was a 4th and 2 from the Kansas City 5. Where he runs that out route, cuts a little short, doesn't get the first down. Second quarter, 2 minutes, about 2 minutes 50 seconds to go. 4th and 2, Kansas City 5. Graham Gano, he hit that 23-yarder. And then in the second half, I thought they also should have went for a 4th and 3 from the Giants, 47. Third quarter, 7:40 left. So 2 situations where it's 4th and short, especially in the red zone, you could pick up a first down without having to score a touchdown. Thought you should have went for it. And Joe Judge says after the game, which I told myself to not react harshly to quotes that come from a locker room and that come from coaches because it's only going to make me more angry. But really, Joe Judge saying this as an explanation just confirms what I believe, and that this coaching staff and overall this franchise right now, they don't value scoring 7 points consistently. I posted the whole 1.5-minute clip, but he says you sometimes shoot yourself in the foot by saying you have to score every point every time it's available. I don't understand why a head coach would ever say that. Like, what is the harm of wanting to go out there, score every single point every single time it is available against a team in which you have to put up points against? Because that's what he was responding to. He was responding to the fact that, I know this game, he was talking about Kansas City being an explosive offense. Yeah, I know this is an explosive offense, but sometimes you shoot yourself in the foot when you get into that mindset of basically this has to be a shootout, which that's the approach on how you beat a team like Kansas City, when you have that mindset. And Joe Judge basically said after the game, you sometimes shoot in your foot when you have that mentality. No, it's why you lost this game.
They never go into a game offensive and like, hey, let's score 38-42. Yeah. It's always like, let's get 25 to 38, 28 points.
They had 300 yards, and Kansas City has been averaging giving up over 400 yards a game. 420 yards a game. Kansas City has been averaging giving up this year. And Giants
total
had 300
yards. Not passing yards, right?
That's total yards.
I saw some people saying that they were giving up 400 passing yards per game.
I
didn't look up that number, but there's
420
no way that's
total
real.
yards, yeah.
Yeah, I knew there was no way that was real. And on third down, like that third down call to Shep is so frustrating. And I saw people saying, well, Shep, it's, you should have ran the route a little longer. Well, you cut the field in half. You're in the red zone and you don't have much room. You have 3rd and 4. You cut the field in half. The Slayton route is really not an option unless it's just uncovered. Like it's essentially just clearing out for Shep on the out route. And if Shep runs that at the sticks, well, you have an incompletion or an interception. So that's so frustrating that they do that. And it would have been an okay play call. And this is sometimes like when we talk about third down decisions under Garrett, it's like, all right, I could understand this play call if you're going to go for it on 4th down. But they don't. They kick a field goal on 4th and 2. And it's like, unless it's 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line, that's the only time they go for it on 4th down. And it's like so consistent. It'd be one thing that if we're coming away from a game and we're talking about Joe Judge on 4th down. But it's like we're coming after 24 games and it's like, this is just it. He's never going to change with this.
No.
And in a game where he wastes a bunch of timeouts, I know the headset thing, but like I don't know. It's frustrating.
So the whole thing with the headsets, and because wasting timeouts is also it's a huge issue. That is a huge issue where
ever since crowds have been a part of games, we've been really bad with timeout management.
Well, 31 other teams seem to not have a problem with it.
I'm saying that as a criticism, not
I know, yeah. I know, but if it's been a headset issue that's sustained itself for the last couple weeks, why don't you have an alternative system of communication? I mean, that's my thing. So that could just be a BS throwaway answer.
Yeah, I don't even feel like doing the whole headset thing.
No, but I'm saying that, for a coach that has an answer to everything, that's a pretty lame excuse as to why do you waste timeouts, especially at the end of, again, not prioritize scoring points, right? At the end of the first half. What do you have, 30 some seconds left? Maybe there's not a strong opportunity to put points on the board there, but I do find it to be pretty funny. The selective decision making on when they're going to be aggressive at the end of the first half versus when they're not aggressive. Like, why was this scenario where a situation where you were aggressive when you had such little time with no timeouts, without any kind of skill position players and no offensive line? And then there are other games where you've had your full complement of weapons with 2 timeouts left with 50 seconds to go, and you choose not to really do anything with it, in the first play you run as a draw. I find that to be very, very funny.
Right. Well, let's talk about DJ.
Yeah.
22 for 32, completed 69% of his passes, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The interception was bad, and it's frustrating because I hate the stick concept, especially in the beginning of games, where it's like, last year, I haven't talked about it this much this year, but last year I'm like, I don't understand why on the first play of every passing game, teams aren't just jumping every route. Because they run stick the first passing play of every single game. That's what they do. And so Daniel Jones, it's a pick aside pre-snap read, and you're reading the linebacker, and Booker's on a swing, and he thinks that Willie Gay's playing man coverage, but he's not. He jumps that's a really bad interception by Daniel Jones. I understand it's a very bang play, but you gotta see that linebacker and be like, oh, he's coming under, he's going under and not over. If he's going over, you throw that. But he's going underneath on that. You can't throw that play, and that's bad. And that is, that's a difference in a game against a team where you should be trying to outscore, because your team only scores 17 points. If you go for it on for fourth down, then it's not. But so. It's the system that we're in, and that was a really bad play by Daniel Jones, and that led to 7 points for the other team. So that's why after that, Jones played fine, not great. So I have it as a C game. I know it's if you win, last week, it was the best game of Daniel Jones' career. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a good game, but it's not the best game of his career. And then this game, it's like, oh, this is horrible, god awful. No, it's not horrible, god awful. But it's not good. That's where it's a C game to me, because after that play, he played all right. He was getting, he only had 1 sack before that final drive, where it's just like, gosh, you guys can't even block. You guys can't block at all. So he's doing a good job getting to his outlets, but, that interception changes the game.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it sucks that we're in that situation where that interception changes the game. But it does, where it's we have to, the defense has to be really good, and the offense needs to essentially be perfect. It was if there was ever a game plan where it's we're trying to get 10 yards every 3 plays, it was this.
Yeah.
It was the first and second down. And did you feel good about the run game today?
I was pretty indifferent. I didn't feel great
about it. It felt really good to me. Wow, look at the run game.
In the second half, I would like to see the splits between the first half and the second half of yards per carry.
But it's I felt really good about the run game for the first time this year, and it's the bar is so low for the running game. The running backs had 15 carries. Booker had 15 carries for 60 yards.
He averaged 4 yards per carry. Yeah,
4 exactly, and it was wow, look at a run game. Because before this, it's it's 3 yards per carry, and they're getting they're going for losses constantly. So the fact that they were able to have even a semblance of a run game was the most amazing thing in the world. And that's what's frustrating about Gettleman. It's we talk about, the run game and the devaluation of the run game, but it's you can't even run the ball well, and that was one of the things you said you're going to set out to do.
Yeah. So the thing with the Daniel Jones interception, because I also want to ask you about that pitch, that speed option that everybody's given him a lot of flack for not getting it out there. So Patrick Mahomes made mistakes this game. I'm not going to say a lot of people criticizing Patrick Mahomes for making mistakes in this game and faulting him for finding a way to win this game, but Daniel Jones makes a mistake first drive of the game. It cost them 7 points, yes, but part of the reason why I am way more frustrated with coaching and management that has this philosophy than I am with the quarterback right now, because a lot of people are on Daniel Jones, they're on his case right now. It's because the quarterback can't make one mistake. When quarterbacks every single week make one mistake every single game, where that one mistake is the reason why it costs us a game. Because coaching is supposed to put the players in the position to succeed and to maximize and to correct those mistakes, but we do not have a coaching staff that does. Because coaches, they're supposed to do that. Players can make mistakes, but coaches are supposed to rise above that, and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't a good game by Daniel Jones.
No, it was not. It was not.
I feel a lot different about him than I did last year at this point. Where last year I was like, oh man, this is bad. Where we can do it more on the mailbag, big picture Daniel Jones stuff. But it's like at the halfway point, it's like I feel pretty good about DJ. I don't feel amazing, but I feel pretty good about this first half of the season. Am I sitting here saying like, oh, he's for sure the franchise guy and going crazy? No, but you can't call it a good game when that interception happens and you don't put up more than 17 points. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a train wreck, but you got to score more points for that to happen. And again, coaching puts them in bad situations, but it's QB. There's always going to be a lot of expected of you.
Yep. Can't call it a good game when your average intended air yards per passing attempt was 4 yards. On average, Daniel Jones threw it 4 yards down the field this game. His average time to throw was 2.49 seconds. 3 pass attempts of 10-plus air yards. Didn't complete a single one, I don't think.
Ross one he completed.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, so John Ross completed that. Not using Kadarius Toney at the start of the game. Like, what was that by the coaches? This is, again, all against, like, the worst defense in the National Football League. So, 4 your average intended air yards of 4 yards.
And again, I get the offensive line is bad. But it's like what we said in the preview. It's like you got to kind of live with the fact, like, hey, we're going to have some bad plays. But we're going to get some big plays, too. And you saw that. Like, the Ross play, you scored a touchdown on that drive. Yeah. You can't coach afraid of sacks. You can't. You can't because this is how you end up. Like you end up just a bad offense. When you coach afraid of sacks, you end up becoming a bad offense.
Yep.
And that's what they have been for 24 games. They have been a team. There was a decent little stretch when, your timing receivers went out and you had Andrew Thomas playing well, versus the Saints where you attacked all 3 levels of the field, but they just don't. We talked about the Rams game plan. They didn't do any 3-level reads. Carolina, they did maybe 1. This game, you can't tell for sure without the all-22, but it's like, do you remember like any plays like, oh, they went back and looked at it? No, it was stick, and you have a 3rd and 7, and it's like everyone runs to this, like that 3rd and 7 towards the end of the game. The drive before the Chiefs scored that field goal. Penny has the penalty, but it's 3rd and 7, and everyone runs to the sticks, and you have one clear out on the outside, and they just turn around. And you saw they played press man, they jammed it up, and they had the safeties and like play inside on it. It's like, well, yeah, it's like they've come to expect that on 3rd down, that they're not trying to gain a first down. They're trying to get 6-7 yards. They're trying to get the exact amount of yards they needed for a first down.
What did you think of the speed option?
The triple option. It's crazy that we're running under center triple option like we're Georgia Tech. I mean, he should have pitched it. Huh?
On 3rd and short.
Yeah, he should have pitched it. But, like, when we're talking franchise QB, him not pitching it on the triple option, which, like, Georgia Tech doesn't even run anymore. I'm just not going to go crazy. Like, I get that it was 3rd and 1, and they tried to bait. The defensive player was trying to bait him into the pitch. So he kept it. Like, he saw the defensive player, but when it's that short yardage, the bait is enough to pitch it. Like, he should have pitched it. But, like, I'm just not going to go crazy over a triple option not pitching it on 3rd and 1.
I don't even know if Booker was going to get it.
Yeah, I think he would have. It would have been close. It depended on how that cornerback played versus the wall. I mean, we're running the fucking triple option. I mean, what are we, like, it's, I like creativity and stuff like that, but it's like, have routes work off of each other.
Yep.
Not running the triple option.
What else on the offense? Darius Slayton.
0 catches, 0 yards for Darius Slayton.
Big drop.
Yeah,
he's had a bad national television year.
He has a lot of drops. He just doesn't get as much hate for it as Evan Engram for because they don't turn into interceptions. What did you think about where they called the defensive holding on him on that deep pass? Because it looked like he like pulled up on it.
Yeah,
but it's like, well, he got held, so maybe that is what. But
little bit of a lackadaisical effort getting to that football. Sure. Big first down though. Needed that first down. It's 5 of the 18 Giants' first downs were via penalty this game. So that's 27%. Over a quarter, if you're doing the math.
They just, 18 first downs, they were trying to get 10 yards every 3 plays. Like, this was the Jason Garrett. This is everything that we hate about Jason Garrett in a game. And it's frustrating that the game we praise Jason Garrett is like, ooh, they did a bunch of rollouts.
Yeah.
It's like he's never going to be an advantage as an offensive coordinator. And that should have been the first thing they should have done on January 4th was fire Jason Garrett. And that's on Joe Judge for bringing him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on Joe Judge for bringing him back. And that mixed with and again, we have no evidence that Joe Judge we have no evidence that this isn't just as much Joe Judge's offense as it is Jason Garrett's. The fourth down decision, everything about Joe Judge screams conservative, So this is Joe Judge's offense. This is Joe Judge and Jason Garrett's offense.
Yep. What else on the offense? Talked about the running game a little bit. Like I said, I really do want to look at the first half and second half splits because I have a feeling the second half may be a little bit better, but I also could be wrong. My gut is saying second half is better. My brain is saying that they're relatively even. Just being
You're
mad.
just talking about the run game or just offense in general?
Run game. I'm talking about run game yards per carry.
Yeah, and again, it's 4 yards per carry. That shouldn't be celebrated, but it feels like a huge major milestone for this Giants offense. It's like, well, you didn't really have a bunch of negative running plays, and you pop one for 10 yards here and there, or you got 4 yards when you push the pile well. So frustrating, offensively. We want to talk about the defense. I want to talk about the trade deadline. Actually, one thing we missed is the ad.
So this holiday season, I'm giving thanks to our friends at Manscaped. Can't believe it. We're in November. I can't believe it. Thanksgiving is coming up. Really good holiday. Do I tell my extended family that I have the Performance Package 4.0 from the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming? Do I tell them? It's a bad question. Of course I tell them. Not to mention the Performance Package 4.0. It includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to take care of my bush and score brownie points with the in-laws. I don't know if I like that. Gift yourself Manscaped or the man in your life, ladies, who needs it. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS by going to manscaped.com. 2 of the underrated products. Obviously, we talk about the Lawnmower 4.0 every single week, but the Weed Whacker, need it for my long-ass nose hairs. There is one of my nose hairs, I believe it's this one, my right nose hair. It has hairs that go down longer than the left one, really bothering. Weed Whacker is going to take good care of me. And also, they have shampoo and conditioner in one and body wash. So those 2 things I have been using. They sent it to me. Manscaped sent it to me. So if you already have the Performance Package 4.0, if you already use promo code GIANTS to get 20% off plus free shipping, there's more stuff for you to order and enjoy from Manscaped. Did not know that they had shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Smells great. Smells manly. Smells like cologne. It complements my cologne very, very well, especially the body wash. So that's the stuff that I use. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get 20% off plus free shipping with code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code GIANTS at manscaped.com. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Thank you to Manscaped.
Thank you, Manscaped. What do you think about Billy Price sliding?
Thought it was funny. Dude,
I kind of want to hate him for it, but it's like maybe he just knew the rule and didn't want to get popped.
Situational awareness. Also, that's like your moment. That's like your moment as an offensive lineman to get the ball in your hands and at least truck somebody. Come on, that's your moment. Seize it.
Yeah, but it's like you can't advance it, but it's like, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I was just like,
he was not thinking. Seize your moment.
But here, the only explanation for it was that he was thinking. It's like not thinking is running forward or trying to pitch it back to a receiver. Thinking is being like, it's like, yeah. So, but the O line was bad. Even Skur was missing stunts. I mean,
Hernandez,
that final drive. That final drive. It's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, seriously. They're sending 4.
Yeah.
They're sending 4, and then the third down.
They sent
first
5
sack
on one.
Huh?
They sent 5 on one of those final sequence of plays, but still.
But it's like, gosh, we can't even, get a play that Chuck, and then it's like, it's so frustrating.
Hernandez on Chris Jones, bad.
Yeah, Hernandez got killed a bunch of times.
And Hernandez had a false start that cost him. Pretty good, too. Just like, dude, 4 years. 4 years in the league.
Yeah, they have 5 guys in the offensive line who you have no faith in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice take that I had a couple weeks ago saying Will Hernandez may be the only one that deserves a contract extension. I don't even know that anymore. Between him not picking up stunts last week against Carolina. Yeah, he's a good backup.
Defensively, man, Patrick Graham came to play today. Like, this is the way you beat the Chiefs. Like you make them be patient, and like the Giants did it better than anyone else this season, really. Maybe the Titans did a better job, but like they kept them patient, and even when the Chiefs tried to get them out of it, by the way, like that, and they did well, like when they were running the ball well. But when you look at it, it's like, well, think about you playing that too high, giving them everything underneath, and they only averaged 4 yards per carry running the ball.
Yep.
And like so, like it's not a good game run defensively, but it's like that's kind of like what you'll live with. The issue I always had was like, hey, I get that you're wanting to do the too high stuff, but like you're giving up 200 yards rushing versus the Cowboys and 170 versus the Saints. But if you want to do the two, like, and it's frustrating when they're doing it well, but like they were trying to get the defense, the Giants, to start playing those safeties up and bait them into playing up and getting that big play. And Patrick Graham had them like, nope, sorry, like you guys are gonna have to beat us. You guys are gonna have to be extremely patient, and to hold the Chiefs to 20 points. And 7 of those points coming right off of a turnover, where you got the ball at the 20-yard line or whatever it was. Like that is, that's 2 really good games out of Patrick Graham in this defense. I just think Patrick Graham is a really good, smart coach. There's been times where I've disagreed with stuff with him, but it's like he's constantly changing and doing different things. And, he's patient, like he believes in what he does, but he's not stubborn either, whether it was, manning up James Bradbury on Travis Kelce on third down and pressing him up, keeping everything underneath with Tyreek Hill. Like it's a shame that this game by Patrick Graham and the Giants defense got wasted.
Yep.
And O'Shane Ximines, you do nothing, and then that was the game. The Giants win that game if O'Shane Ximines doesn't jump off sides. And it's like O'Shane Ximines does nothing. Like Quincy Roche is clearly better than O'Shane. It's not like Roche is doing anything crazy.
You could point to a lot of things this game and say that, hey, if they do that one thing, it's a win for the Giants. Maybe if Elijah Penny doesn't cost the team 15 yards on a drive in which they're driving down the field, O'Shane doesn't jump off side or doesn't jump off sides. If Daniel Jones doesn't throw the interception, if he pitches the ball out, so again, it's just the problem of you don't have the player execution, you don't have the coaching. Like, nothing's working hand in hand with each other. Kansas City, they were 2 for 6 in the red zone. 1 for 5 if you're not counting the Daniel Jones interception. So 2 for 6 in the red zone, nice little 33% conversion for touchdowns. Not a single completion over 20+ air yards for Patrick Mahomes. 15 of his 48 completions came behind the line of scrimmage. And still, even with throwing the ball near the line of scrimmage so much, Patrick Mahomes had a completion rate of 60.4, a CPOE, completion percentage over expected, which does measure quarterback accuracy, and it does kind of take into account, if you have drop balls and stuff like that. Completion percentage over expected of minus 7.7. That's really, really good. Really, really good. And fault Patrick Graham for some of the things that he's done this year. But one of the things that I am going to remember for him for, regardless of where he ends up next year, regardless of where Joe Judge is, one of the things I am always going to remember Patrick Graham for and be thankful for is I do think he is a coach where if he's playing Russell Wilson, if he's playing Patrick Mahomes, he's going to giddy up for it. Jason Garrett only seems to really ever giddy up for if he's playing against Dallas. But he's going to giddy up for these big games against big quarterbacks. And he comes up with Picasso-like game plans with these guys where nobody ever limited Russell Wilson in 2020 the way the Giants did until Patrick Graham did. Not a lot of people can say that they've limited Patrick Mahomes like the Giants did last night. There are some teams that have done it, but not a lot of teams can say that they've done it consistently. And they did it. So I will always be thankful for Patrick Graham doing having these types of games in these types of situations. Bobby, you're muted.
And, with that, having a real deal, pass rusher besides Leonard Williams, in the inside, who had a sack, a tackle for loss, and a QB hit today. And at big time moments as well for Leonard Williams. We just talked about Daniel Jones and not being happy with this game. Patrick Mahomes was the lesser QB today. Patrick Mahomes played worse than Daniel Jones today, and we're talking about Daniel Jones not playing well, and that's credit to Patrick Graham. They stayed consistent. I thought, McKinney. I think McKinney played well. It's hard to tell with the too high safety on TV, but
it's just so frustrating that McKinney is not as physical as he was at Alabama. And I get it. The pro game is different than the collegiate game. But if you're playing physical and if you're coming up and making plays at Alabama, I expect somewhat of a similar play style in the NFL. If you play that way in the SEC, I expect you to play similar in the NFL. And he's just so timid. I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. So McKinney in coverage for a free safety, had a decent game. But even for people like myself who say that he's being used wrong and he should be a strong safety, he's not even as physical to be a strong safety or in the box safety. So I guess he needs to stay at free safety.
Yeah, it's McKinney. Yeah, he hasn't really excited at all.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. All the things we complained about. At the start of the big picture issues, Patrick Graham was one. It's and Patrick Graham, for the offense should have self-scouted and totally changed. Patrick Graham self-scouted more. He studied what other defensive coordinators, he studied what the Fangios, the Staleys did this offseason and got more to the too high looks, and again, there's been things I've disagreed with Pat Graham this year, but it's this guy is changing, evolving, and trying to get better and better, and he's a smart dude,
Patrick Graham had a top 10 defense in 2020. And still changed it dramatically the following season.
Yeah, didn't it just copy and paste what where that would have been what most coordinators do is they all right, we had a good season, let's just do the same exact things next year. No, Graham's hey, I want to change, I want to get better, I want to get with the times. It's I got a door, I want to play more press man, but it's all right, against the Chiefs we're not going to do press man except for when it's on third down, and we'll blitz here and there. And it's not just being all right, let's go all out blitzes. And so, and also not being too overreactive. So the past two games have been really good from Pat Graham. There's been things I didn't like what they did versus Dallas in the run game wise, but Dallas offense is so good. Dallas scares me way more than Kansas City did. And we got a lot of heat. I got a lot of heat for saying that Dallas was the best offense they're going to face this year. It's going to give the Giants more issues than any other offense. And
they not showing it?
Yeah, I fully still believe that. What their offense does is whatever you're going to do, we'll do the opposite. So it just sucks that could have been a really nice Darnay Holmes interception. By the way, Aaron Robinson got a good amount of reps in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, good for him. He seemed to do all right. I saw a guy running out there with dreads. I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, that's literally the first thing I was wait, who's that? 33? I'm it's not Crossing. I was is that is that Stephen Parker? And then I was oh no, that's Aaron Robinson.
Oh, we did have a Keon Crossen sighting today. 6.
He had a sack and a tackle for a loss.
2023 6th-round draft pick, I believe we got him for. It wasn't this year. It was next year.
Yeah, next year. And Cam Brown was playing.
Yeah. I liked playing Cam Brown, and we're really getting into it, but I liked playing Cam Brown because it always seemed like when he was in there, he was chasing Patrick Mahomes down from the opposite side of the field, and it's yeah, he's fast. Put him in there, chase him down.
What Cam Brown will do that Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Jimenez will do, Cam Brown's not going to win versus a tackle.
No.
What Cam Brown does is he gets up the field and fast, and when a QB loses, it's Cam Brown's there dogging the QB. So when you're doing stunts and stuff like that up the middle, I want Cam Brown in there over Lorenzo and O'Shane.
I mean, that was the majority of the game where Mahomes throws an incompletion and you have one or two guys that are, You have one guy that's trailing behind him, and then you have another guy that's, maybe an interior defensive lineman who's in front of him, who's closing in, and then Mahomes has, these 1 or 2 seconds before he's going to get hit by somebody, before he has to throw the ball away, or before he, there were some risky throws, but, Mahomes has made too, where there's one where Julian Love, maybe could have got a hand on the ball here or there. So, brilliant. It was really brilliant. Where, we were talking before the game, Bobby, on Friday's preview pod, and we're talking, well, who do we want Tyreek Hill to be covered by? Adoree Jackson or James Bradbury? To be honest, I don't even know if they were covering him all that often. Either one of them. Really?
Well, Adoree was on him a decent amount. But what I like, too, is like when they were motioning Tyreek, and this is something that happened with the Rams, got caught up with a little bit when they had Goff as their QB, is like they're like, all right, we're staying in our zone. We're not changing anything. Like, do all that motion. We're just not going to move.
Yeah.
Like, good luck with that. We're not going to react to your motion, which I thought was pretty good. So, I mean, good game defensively. It sucks is wasted on a loss.
Yep.
So, what did I want to talk about?
And stinks because I still feel like linebacker is such a huge problem. Tay Crowder has really disappointed me this year. He's not playing in...
They don't play aggressive, but I guess this game they weren't wanting to, but still.
Yeah, Tay Crowder is obviously not an interior linebacker number 1, and maybe he just fits better as an interior linebacker number 2. But oh my God, Tay Crowder is not good right now. He is not. And they did all this, they did all that with Xavier McKinney, who we're iffy about, Tay Crowder, who's not playing well, and yeah, that just sucks.
I want to talk about the trade deadline, but I feel like there was one other thing I'm missing that I wanted to hit on. Damn it! What is something I might be missing on? Corner, safety, D-line, outside line. I don't know. All right, so I can't remember what it was. Evan Ingram has some trade value. He should be traded tomorrow. Like, it's always when you're dealing with like speculating and stuff. It's like it's hard to tell. But Evan, like if they get offered a 7th for Slayton, I probably wouldn't take that. As much as I'm emotionally over him right now. But Evan Ingram, you're 2-6. You're not going to win this year. You're not going to the playoffs. And even if you did, like, who cares? Which they're not. He's on an expiring contract. You're bringing in a new regime. He should be traded tomorrow. There is trade value out there for Evan Ingram. You're not going to get anything in a comp pick. If you do, it's a 6th or a 7th. And that's not even a guarantee. Evan Ingram should be traded tomorrow. Like, he is the one player where it's like there's no reason for him to not be traded tomorrow. Like, I will be pissed if he's not traded tomorrow. There's zero reason to not trade him.
I agree.
He hasn't been having these negative. He hasn't been having really big plays. He had a touchdown today with good stuff, but he hasn't had negative plays really this year after that fumble in his first game versus Atlanta.
But they're not going to. You know that, right?
I don't know. But there's just no reason to not trade Evan Ingram.
Yeah, it's not. But they're not going to.
You're not getting a Landon Collins comp pick. You're
not
so
going
frustrating.
To. I'm not even sold that they're going to go with the different regime, Bobby. I'm not even sold.
What do you mean?
Gettleman's going to be gone, but I think Judge is still here, and I think I'm kind of getting into that mindset.
If it's Judge and a new OC, I can talk myself into an offseason of hope. But if it's Judge and Garrett, it's like, and again, I don't want Judge being brought back. But if it's Judge and Garrett, it's just like it kind of ruins the offseason.
Yeah.
It's like, what is there to hope for? It's like this. We know this is not going to work. He will never be an advantage. He will never be advantaged as an offensive coordinator.
That one New Orleans game, though, when we had everybody there. That Washington game, though, when we had everybody there.
I understand personnel is not bad, or is bad, but he will never be an advantage. Why would an elite? Where I think an offensive coordinator, offensive play caller, is maybe the most important thing in the NFL right now.
I think it is.
Like, unless you have the top QB, and even then you have the top QB. If you don't have a good play caller, like, you're screwed too. You know, you can have you don't have to need to have a great one, but if like you have a top offensive play caller, I think it's the most important thing in the NFL right now.
I do. I agree.
You know, like look at what Sean McVay did with Jared Goff for years. You know, and it wasn't like he was surrounded by like a ton of talent on offense in LA. You know, it was like good talent, nothing special. You know, and now this guy's 0-8. Like a top play caller is, and it's like that. Jason Garrett will never be that. At best, he'll be average, and I don't think he'll ever be that either. You know, I'd be surprised if he was like an average offensive coordinator.
No, it's why I said a couple weeks ago when evaluating what the Giants are going to do in the future, I said I'm not going to fully trust in the vision of the franchise until they show me they can produce explosive plays at a plus rate and score points at a plus rate, and that requires bringing in a play caller that believes in that. Like that is going to be the thing that I'm going to be evaluating whatever comes next with this team. You know, I'm not going to talk myself into, you know, whatever they say during press conference. You know, while that'll be nice, whatever they say in a press conference, la-di-la-di-do, la-di-la-di-da. That is the stuff that I'm going to be dissecting the most, is wherever XYZ person came from, what does that offense do and how do they move the ball? That's what I'm going to be looking at, because that is what most important. I think you hit that on the head.
All right, that's an episode. So schedule, because we're playing on Monday night. If they make a trade, we'll be back tomorrow for a Wednesday podcast. We'll mix talking about whatever player is traded, and we'll do our mailbag for Wednesday. If nobody's traded, we will, or fired or whatever, we'll put the mailbag pod out on Thursday, and then we'll have a regular preview pod on Friday. So that's so either Wednesday or Thursday, the midweek mailbag pod will come out. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back. We'll continue talking about this team. Looking forward to the rest of the year, seeing how Daniel Jones does. You know, he's going to be the QB next year. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next pod. Until then, let's go Big Blue.